Hi, I'm Nigel Landis. Welcome and thank you for joining me for this short preview for the next episode of the Private Reflections podcast. In this episode, I'm joined by Army veteran and founder for Guitars for Vets Australia, Dave Cox, as we explore his time in the military and discuss Guitars for Vets Australia. Dave, what were the circumstances that led you to enlist into the military? Well, you said you were 15.
Yes, the Army back in those 70s when I joined, they had an Army apprentices scheme, and they would sign you up at 15 and induct you into the Army, and you signed up for 9 years, so you made a commitment to the country, and for that they would teach you a trade, so you get a formal trade, and they teach you to be a soldier, and then they would let you loose into the Army as a tradesman soldier. So I undertook that path at 15, and the reason I joined was really quite different. You know, my parents were quite strict, and the 70s was pretty hippie and feeling pretty loose and feeling, and I really didn't like the controls my parents were putting on me. I thought, look, I've got to break out of this. And funnily enough, I saw the Army as a way out. So little did I know I was leaving one repressive regime to join another.
I was going to say, that's a pretty interesting leap to escape the tyranny of parents.
Yeah, but I had a lot of freedom. I guess with freedom comes responsibility, and I guess they, once I joined the Army, I had the freedom I sought, but I was still quite constrained.
Yeah.
But that was probably the core motivation. And then I picked a trade that I wanted. I saw it as a way to improve myself, and I wasn't quite sure how, but I took the step.
For those that haven't heard about it, how do you sum up what Guitars with Vets is?
Well, it's quite simple. Our mission is to support veterans who are suffering from PTSD or other stress-related injuries through the power of music. So that's what we do. And it's a very simple proposition. What we do is we give a veteran a guitar, and then we provide 10 lessons to that veteran. So that's enough to give them a couple of chords and a little bit of confidence, and enough to sort of play a few basic songs on the back porch with a cup of coffee, or share a song with their family if that's where they want to go. So it's really just providing an alternative. And a lot of veterans, once they leave the service, if they've been there for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, they can't really think out of the box in those sort of early stages. They've been a little bit institutionalized. So music is like a pathway. If you can imagine, you're consumed with everything in your mind, whether it's PTSD or whether it's just transition issues. If you start to play the guitar, your hands are engaged, your brain's engaged because you're thinking about where to put your fingers, and then your heart's engaged because you're hearing these beautiful sounds. So all of a sudden there's nothing left in the brain department to think about except playing the guitar. Yeah. So for some people, they experience this freedom that they haven't been able to find in other things. So music really does provide that step or that pathway out. And a veteran called me one day and he said, for the first time, Dave, I feel like someone's opened a window in my mind. All we're trying to do is give the veteran a tool, some wood and 6 strings, the guitar, show them how to play, and at least it gives them something that they can sort of do and enjoy by themselves or with some friends and go forward. So that's the basic fundamentals of what we do and how we go about it.
If you'd like to access this episode or the full Private Reflections series, you can find the link to Patreon in the description below. Most of the content is free to listen to, and some of the episodes are available for a small fee, with a portion of those proceeds being donated to registered charities supporting veterans. I look forward to having you join me for this episode and for future conversations in the Private Reflections podcast. Until then, thanks for listening.